Now, from Wish TV, this is The Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. Coming up tonight, it's a week filled with great postseason high school sports action. In the Coach's Corner, meet the longtime Pike High School boys basketball coach. Plus, our athlete of the week comes from a great basketball family, but is making his own name on the court.
I played against my mom a lot, so I started beating her when I was like freshman year, so then she just stopped playing.
We're flipping out for the Zone Extra right now.
Hi, everybody. Good evening to you, and welcome to the Zone Extra. I'm Anthony Calhoun. What a great week of high school sports action with postseason action across multiple sports as we also wind down the boys basketball regular season. In the Coach's Corner, he's in year 13 as head coach of the Red Devils. Pike boys basketball coach Bill Zick is in studio with us tonight. Plus, our athlete of the week is a basketball star at Brownsburg and a future Purdue Boilermaker. We'll introduce you to the Bulldogs junior Cannon Catchings. And we go on campus tonight at the University of Miami with former Lawrence Central basketball star Nigel Pack. Now, let's take a look at this week in high school sports. Class 4A semi-state is Lawrence North taking on Bedford North Lawrence. And third quarter we go. Lanaya early catch and shoot three good. Plus LN within 8. Fourth quarter we go as Hunt here pulls up with the three. Perfect shot. Wildcats down just 3. But the Stars are too much. You got Chloe Spree misses the free throw, and no problem there. Gets it to go there. Lawrence North out of Bedford North Lawrence, that is, wins this one 47-40. Is the final. They're headed moving on now. Congrats to them. Who will the Stars meet at State? Was Fishers taking on Lake Central. First quarter, Olivia Smith finds Talia Harris inside. Tigers up 4 early in this one. Tigers expanding the lead in the second quarter. You got senior Haley Smith buries the 3. It's an 11-point game there. Later is Smith sharing this time. Dumps it out to Harris in the other corner. That's good. Tigers advance to state finals for the first time in program history. 41-24 is the final.
I'm excited, and I'm really excited for them. This is just something that, as a kid, I came down to watch the Indiana High School Girls Basketball State Finals, and you dream of getting there as a player. That never happened to me, but here I am, and I'm so excited for our kids. And what we've been telling our kids is just to enjoy it. We've had a lot of firsts this year. We've actually won the first regional title, and then obviously semi-state school record for wins, and it's something that, like I said, it goes back to this whole idea of trying to build a program.
All right, meanwhile, congratulations to those ladies there. Meanwhile, in Class 2A, it was LaPel facing off against Central Noble here. And in first quarter, you got a Pointer gets inside and gets it to go. She had 10 points of the night. Bulldogs up 5 later. Rosemary Likens here buries a 3, and LaPel leads by 8 after a quarter. Fourth quarter we go. Willis here gets the bucket to go. She led the Bulldogs with 11 points. LaPel advances to their first title game, 51-38, the final.
This is obviously the first time the girls have been to the state finals game. I've been in the Final Four twice, and it's been a long time since we even won a sectional. So for us to get over that hump was a great thing, and our community is always behind us, even if we're not winning. Even if you lose in sectional, they're still there. They still believe in you, and that's the great part about LaPel is we always have people we can count on. So for them to be able to be a part of it and have our back is just such an awesome thing.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations to LaPel moving on to the state finals. So here's a look at the matchups coming up on Saturday at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. In the first matchup, we got Bethany Christian there taking on Lanesville in the 1A matchup. 2A game, LaPel against Forest Park down there in southern Indiana. 12:45 is the tip in that one. Meanwhile, the 3A game, you got Fairfield and Corton Central at 6 o'clock, and then Fishers against Bedford North Lawrence. That's coming up at 8:15. Good luck to all the ladies. They get ready to try to contend there for a state championship. All right, meanwhile, in boys wrestling, the season came to a close last Saturday night under the lights with the state finals championship matches. State wrestling at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the class 120 class. You got LaPorte's Ashton Jackson trying for 3 straight titles, but Brownsburg sophomore Jake Hockaday wins 6-3 decision. He's a state champ for the 2nd year in a row. At 132 pounds, Whiteland's Joy Butler beats Brownsburg's Brittany Eisen 6-3. It's a perfect 45-0 season for the Butler there. And at 152, Ron College senior Bryce Laurie wins his first title in the state, beating Modern Day's Hunter May 3-1. And at the 285, Brownsburg senior and future Iowa football player Layton Jones with a 7-2 win over Kelton Farmer out of Evansville Memorial. Crown Point wins the team title for the 2nd year in a row. Center Grove finishes 2nd, and Brownsburg took home 3rd. Meanwhile, in swimming, it was the start of the boys state tournament last week with plenty of Central Indiana teams bringing home titles. Congrats to Fishers, North Central, Carmel, Center Grove, Plainfield, Zionsville, Brownsburg, and New Palestine. State finals begin at the IUPUI Natatorium beginning tomorrow, to be exact, with the prelims, and then they'll continue through Saturday. Good luck to all the participants there as they get ready to go to work this weekend. Okay, time for a break. We have much more ahead here tonight on the Zone Extra. Glad you're hanging out with us. Up next is the Coach's Corner. He's the longtime boys basketball coach at Pike. We got Bill Zick. He's here in the house tonight, and still ahead, he comes from a great basketball family, but is making a name for himself on the hardwood. We'll introduce you to our Athlete of the Week from Brownsburg. That's on the way.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. The Coach's Corner, presented by Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender.
Hi, everybody. We're back here on the Zone Extra. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. Time now for the Coach's Corner. He's the man in his 13th season leading the Red Devils there at Pike High School. Please welcome the head basketball coach of the boys basketball team, head coach Bill Zick, here with us tonight. Coach, great to see you as always, my man.
Thank you, Anthony.
We're almost ready to dive into March. You know, been around Indiana basketball forever. What's it like getting ready for March? It's always a good time. But first things first, your season's over, but as you get ready for the postseason, how are you feeling about your guys right now?
Well, feeling really good, Anthony. I thought we've had a pretty good season. We played in spurts, up and down, but that's usually what happens with high school kids. So playing pretty well leading into the tournament, and if you're a coach, that's what you want your kids to be doing, is playing at their highest level when we get into March. Yeah,
winners of 5 of your past 7 games right now. What do you like about what you've been able to see from this team on the court? We saw you just last week, an impressive win against Lawrence North, getting it done there. But what has it been about this team that you've enjoyed so far?
Well, I think you always talk about being a marathon, not a sprint, because we had some excellent seniors that graduated last year, so all kids were going to play in different roles. And what has happened is that they've adjusted to the roles and played very well. So again, we've got scoring from seniors Devin Wood and Joe Anand, and Cam Caskey as a junior as our primary scorers, but the other kids have done a great job not only scoring the ball, but playing defense, which is what we need to do, especially with the competition we play.
Yeah, you get set here to go into postseason. We all know the deal. You win, you move on. You lose, unfortunately, the season is over. But you've had a tough schedule as well, and we'll get into that in a moment. But what is it about these group of guys that you believe can put together some games and possibly make a run here in the postseason?
Well, I think we had a streak of 7 or 8 in a row during the middle of the season, so I think they know they can play some real good basketball. And again, they have to trust each other, obviously trust the coaching staff as we prepare them to play. So again, I just have a good feeling about this group. We've come a long way from the beginning and working in those workouts in November. So looking forward to see what they're going to do next week.
Yeah, seeing the hard work paying off, hopefully for the Pike Deborah Red Devils, of course, as they get ready for the sectionals. Coach, 13 years you've been at Pike, over 30 years of coaching basketball, and what has been so special about being there with Pike and and leading these young men?
I'm really honored to take the job 13 years ago because I knew of all the tradition, and certainly I have a lot of great players that I've coached early in my years at Pike, and even though the ones that don't have the big names right now that are playing, but they're all special people. So again, I think it's just a tradition that Pike has through the years. I've got a couple of those guys on my staff, at Braxton Mills and Justin Cage, that played there at Pike.
Yeah.
So if we get a pickup game, I'm looking pretty good there with those,
right,
those guys. So again, we just try to bring that tradition with us and get it down to these kids so they understand how important it is.
Did you think you'll be there more than 10 plus years? I mean, because, listen, we know it's one of the best, when you think about basketball programs in the state of Indiana, it ranks right there at the top. But to be doing this for 13 years, do you think you were going to be going that long? Or?
Well,
that's
you
cool.
just never know, because you say the adage 1 year at a time, and certainly at that job, that's what you want. And certainly the goal always at Pike High School has been to win the state championship. We are fortunate to get there once, but had a lot of good years. So the great assistant coaches that I've had, but more importantly, the kids, how they've responded to our program and our system, and it's been really good.
Yeah, I want to talk about, we talk about the sectionals coming up. They'll be here getting underway coming up on Tuesday. You guys have a bye, and then after that, you get set to take on the winner of Ron Kale, as I like to call them, against Decatur Central. And give me your thoughts on this. Either way you look at it, you got a tough sectional 11 here for you guys, indeed. Well,
there's a lot of good sectionals in Indianapolis, and we always think that ours is one of the toughest ones, and with Ben Davis in our section this year setting the standard there. But all the teams in this tournament are very good. We were fortunate the first time around to beat everybody other than Ben Davis in those, but they've all been close games, so I think they can all rise up to the challenge. So it's, even though we have a bye, and I don't care what other coaches say, I'd rather have a bye than to play. So one less game to play, so we're looking forward to watching some basketball, getting our kids prepared, and then certainly taking on that winner of Ron Kale and Decatur. Yeah, you mentioned about the history at Pike High School and just the tradition when it comes to great basketball programs in the state of Indiana, and you guys have been able to just be, I always think of you guys, even though maybe not a lot of state championships, but just consistency, just always in it. When, and you see your name on the schedule, no way you're taking Pike lightly at all. How much pride does that give you when you realize the tradition, and you played a part of this too, keeping this basketball program where it's at? Well, I appreciate it. I knew that was the job at hand when I took over the position, and we've been fortunate enough, like I said, with the players and the coaches that we've had. But a lot of good years, certainly a lot of great years, over 500. I had some runs to get to the regional and stuff. So again, I think for myself personally, it was a great challenge, but I love that challenge. That's why we try to schedule everybody we can, because I want our kids to know that each day they come into the gym, they have to prepare to play the best. Yeah, and as we always say, once it's postseason, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Coach, and all the best to you, and good luck to you guys as try to make a run to the Fieldhouse, okay? Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a timeout. So ahead here tonight on the Zone Extra, it's our athlete of the week. He's a Brownsburg hoop star and future Purdue Boilermaker. Up next, we're going to meet junior Cannon Catchings. That's on the way. Plus, we go on campus tonight to catch up with former Lawrence Central basketball star Nigel Pack. That and more coming up.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
We're back here on the Zone Extra tonight. Anthony Calhoun here with you. Our athlete of the week comes from a family that certainly knows success on the basketball court. Brownsburg junior Cannon Catchings leads the Dogs in scoring at 18 points per game, while also averaging 4.5 rebounds and 1.5 steals, and is committed to play at Purdue in 2 years. His mother, Taja, was a Miss Basketball at Illinois, in Illinois that is, and his aunt is none other than, Hall of Famer and Indiana Fever legend, Tamika Catchings. Cannon tells us he's loved being part of a basketball family and having the sport as part of his life from a very young age.
I think 5 years old, maybe. 5 years old, and I was always watching my aunt work out, train, and my other cousins. I was always the youngest. I played against my mom a lot, so I started beating her when I was freshman year, so and then she just stopped playing.
He's had to work through the pressure of being that player with that name, and There's some empathy from my standpoint of the pressure he's under to perform and uphold the name. But at the same time, I think he's got a tremendous amount of support and some guidance at home that not every kid has. Like a lot of kids, I don't think they realize coming through middle school or their freshman year how hard it's going to be. The physicality, I think, that's always an adjustment for a lot of kids. That initial realization he's got to get stronger. And then his maturation, like he's grown, he's continued to gain weight, he's worked in the weight room, so his physical ability to play has gotten better each year.
Coach Lynch doesn't just, he's a defensive coach, so obviously I have to be able to play defense if I want to play. And then I'd say just other things help the team win more than just being a scorer.
You got to love. I remember seeing Cannon there covering, actually watching his aunt, Tamika Catchings, play for the Fever. And man, look how big he is now. All the best to him as he gets set to head to Purdue. We're going to take a time out. We're going to come here tonight on the Zone Extra. It's time for our Play of the Week. It's on the way. Plus, it's the latest installment of Ask the Commissioner with Paul Neidig of the IHSAA. That's coming up.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
We're back here on the Zone Extra. Now it's time to go on campus where we catch up with a former Central Indiana high school athlete as they compete, that is, in college. This week we head down to Florida at the University of Miami. Nigel Pack is in his first season with the Hurricanes after 2 years at Kansas State. In high school, Pack shined at Lawrence Central. He was an Indiana All-Star his senior season, averaging nearly 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, helping lead the team to a 22-3 record. This year with the 13th ranked Hurricanes, Nigel averages 13.5 points and leads the team in 3-pointers and says he's loving the competition of the ACC.
The ACC has been great. Obviously, playing in a great league before. Obviously, this is a little different, but obviously it's something I dreamed of as well. I mean, being a little kid, used to watch all the Blue Bloods play against each other. Obviously, I haven't got to play at Kentucky, but playing at Kansas and playing at North Carolina and playing at Duke, obviously those are going to be some things that I remember for the rest of my life. And obviously, this is a great opportunity, and I'm blessed to be able to play in this conference. And obviously, it's been so much fun playing with this team. Obviously, we still have things that we want to compete and finish with.
All right, all the best to him there with the Hurricanes. Now time for Ask the Commissioner. Each week, we take one of your questions to IHSA Commissioner Paul Neidig and bring you his answers. So here's the question this week. After seeing the new basketball postseason format in the girls' tournament, what has the feedback been?
Well, I think that's a perspective answer. So a lot of times it just depends. But from a fan's perspective, it was really a good change. We had huge crowds. We had some places that were near sellouts. And it also allows that community event to happen in 8 places across Indiana where teams drive to town, they eat in the restaurants, and then they come back for the night game. So our perspective, it was really good. There was a lot of excitement around the tournament, and it seemed to bring a buzz that we haven't seen in a while. Now, for a few coaches, it was a tough round, and it was highly competitive games. And, preparing for 2 games is never easy. So I'm sure there are some that say, hey, I would have rather prepared for those 2 games at the regional level. But all in all, it's our belief that that toughest round should be right before you get the biggest prize. And that's the semi-state 2 games to get to play in the state championship contest.
Oh, it's great to hear from the commissioner. By the way, if you want to submit a question to the commissioner, here's your information right there on the screen. All you got to do is, reach out to us, and who knows, your question could possibly be asked to the commissioner. Now, time to check out our play of the week. Hamilton Southeastern's Ref Stevenson gets the pass and throws it down, the big slam. Let's take another look at that again. HSC gets the upset win over Brownsburg last week. Our crews, of course, see a lot of great action, but we want to see your best plays every week too, so send them our way. Here's what you got to do. Send them to wishtv.com, and who knows, your play may be displayed here on the Zone Extra. Miami TV, Channel 23 is your home for high school sports. Coming up tomorrow night is a Hendricks County clash as Avon goes on the road to take on Danville. You can see all the action coming your way live on Miami TV, Channel 23. That's coming up starting at 7:30 tomorrow on Miami TV, Channel 23. And it's a big night of high school hoops across Central Indiana as we bring you regular season. It comes to a close. We will have all the great action in the zone coming up tomorrow night at 11:08. Here's a look at our game plan for the games you're going to see that we'll be covering on the zone. We got Ben Davis taking on Tech, Greenwood against New Pal, Ron Colley against Brebeuf, and Whiteland getting set to take on Beech Grove, and then Cascade against Plainfield. Those games plus more right here on the zone coming up tomorrow night at 11:08. All right, folks, hey, thank you so much for watching the Zone Extra. I'm Anthony Calhoun. Don't forget, we are back here next week, same time, same place. Have a good one.